All right. When you are doing this at home, this does have the instructions at the top. So if you forget and you don't want to take your journal out, it does have the steps up here at the top. The first part that we're going to do, and I'm going to try to pull this up so it won't go to the next page. Let's see. For some reason, this program is like extra sensitive. Not sure why. All right. We are going to use a less than, greater than, or equal to symbol to compare these numbers, okay? And most of these you can do without putting them vertically, okay? Can't get a good color. Okay. So we have 5 and 1/10 is what to 2 and 3/10? Greater than. Because 5 is greater than 2, okay? Let's look at number 2. I've got 9 and 4/10 is what to 12 and 1/10? Less. Because 9 is less than 12. All right? I want you to do the next 4. All right, number 3. 15 and 5/10 is what to 15 and 5/10? Equal. 18 and 9/10 is what to 18 and 1/10? Greater than. Which place value did you look at? The tenths. The 9 is greater than the 1. Number 5. 21 and 4/10 is what to 21 and 6/10? Less than. Which place value did you look at? The 6 and the 4, the tenths place. 25 is what to 25 and no tenths? Equal. All right, now we're going to look at 7 through 12, and I am going to bring you a piece of paper so that you can write your work on a piece of scratch paper. Some of these are easy, okay? Some of these you're going to need to write them on paper, all right? Number 7. Can we compare the ones place for number 7?
No.
Nope, we cannot, because the ones place for number 7 is all what? They're all the same. They're all a number 1. So we have 1 and 4/10, 1 and 1/10, and 1 and 5/10. So I can't look at the ones, I've got to look at the tenths place. Which one's going to be the least? 1 and 1. And I'm going to mark it out. What's going to come in the middle? 1 and 4/10. And what's the biggest one? 1 and 5. All right, let's do number 8 together. We've got 3 and 9/10, 3 and 2/10, and 3 and 5/10. Can I compare the ones place? No. Can I compare the tenths place? Yes. So what's the smallest one? 3 and 2. What's going to come next? And what's the biggest one? All right. I want you to finish those 4 and then I'm going to go over them, okay? All right, for number 9, what's going to come first? 7 and 1/10. Next. 7 and 6/10, and what's the biggest one? 7 and 7/10. Let's look at number 10. Could you compare the ones place for number 10? Yes. So what's the smallest one? 2 and 2/10. What's the middle one? 4 and 2/10. And what's the biggest one? 6 and 2/10. Number 11, could you compare the ones place? Yes. So what's the smallest one? 6 and 6/10. What's the middle one? 8 and 7/10. And then the biggest one is 10 and 4/10. Now number 12 gave you a curveball. Could you compare the ones place? What could you pick out with the ones place? The greatest. Which one's the greatest?
13.
Now I've got to compare the tenths place. Which one's the smallest?
12.
And which one goes in the middle? All right, make sure that you've gotten those correct on your paper, okay? And let's look at the bottom. Now, anytime you are on a test, okay, whether it's my quiz, my test, a standardized test like MAP or SC Ready, you have got to make sure that you read the directions, okay? Now, 7 through 12 asked us to order them from least to greatest. 13 to 18 ask us to what? Greatest to least, okay? We want to do least to greatest. That our body just naturally, oh, that was not the highlighter. Our body, our mind naturally wants to do least to greatest, but you have to read the directions. This one's greatest to least, so we're going to do number 13 together. So I've got 2 and 3/10, 2 and 9/10, and 2 and 1/10. Can I compare the ones place?
No.
Nope. Can I compare the tenths place?
Yes.
Yes. Which one's the biggest?
9.
9. So I've got 2 and 9/10. Now I have 3 and 1. Which one's the next biggest? 3. And which one's the smallest?
2 and 1.
2 and 1. All right, I want to skip over and do number 17 together, okay? Over here on the right side. We've got 11 and 2/10, 6 and 8/10, and 2 and 2/10. Can we compare the tens place?
Yes.
Yes. What can we get by comparing the tens place?
11.
The 11 is the biggest. Now, can I compare the ones place? What's going to be the middle one?
6 and 8.
And what's the smallest one?
2.
All right, I want you to do the other 4. Y'all are fast. Number 14, what's the biggest one?
10.8.
4 and 8/10. What's the middle one?
4 and 5.
And what's the smallest one? Very good. Number 15. What's the biggest one?
9 and 5.
The middle one?
9 and 4.
And the smallest one?
9 and 1.
Number 16. What's the biggest one?
9 and 5.
The middle one?
3 and 5.
And the smallest one?
1 and 5.
And number 18. What's the biggest one?
12 and 13.
The middle one?
12 and 9.
And the smallest one?
12 and 8.
Okay, there's a backside to your paper, okay? The backside is level 2, all right? It's just a tad bit harder, but it's not really that much harder, okay? It has the same exact things that are on the front side, on the level 1 side, okay? I want you to do those 18 right now, all right?